Hello, and welcome to episode 25.
25, the big 2-5.
The third time we are recording it.
Yes, so we had a big mic issue with the first time, and the second time, we just decided to...
But, thankfully, thanks to Michaela, one of our viewers on the stream, chatting at us, or else we would have probably recorded an entire hour and then realized that it was all useless.
And would have had to do it again, at which point we would have definitely fired Bentley.
Now he has the option to either stay with the podcast and sever both feet, permanently bound to a wheelchair for the rest of his life, or you could use a void speeder.
Okay. Oh.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
The hoverboard does exist, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Back to
I
the
think,
future.
honestly, what we're going to do is we're going to cut off his legs.
Yeah.
Because that seems like the most reasonable answer.
Yeah.
Useless appendages.
They really are. I mean, yeah, what do you need them for?
I mean,
you're not an
at this-
athlete.
at
You're
this
good.
point-
We just
I'm just
offended an
rolling.
entire genre of human.
Do you think that genre listens to this podcast? No. You know who listens to this podcast? Champions.
People with legs.
People with legs.
People with legs and red hair.
And winners.
What else does Michaela have? Alright, so
Anyway.
we got distracted there. We are on the big 2-5, though. Very exciting. The quarter centennial
mark.
podcast
You
that
guys are so strange.
we said would actually have special things in it, and really the only special thing so far is the fact that we wasted 40 minutes there trying to record and then realized, oh shit, it's not recording right.
And
so,
if at the end of this it all sounds like I think that the title of the episode was going to be, Michaela named it for us in the chat room. What was it? Episode
Creepy
25.
Rapist and Robots.
Creepy Rapists and Robots, because that's what we sounded like, because somehow our voices were echoing like infinitely.
It was weird.
Yeah. And some robot stuff.
Thank God we got that fixed, though. The important thing to note, though, we have some news, and I guess really the most important Heroes of the Storm news of the week is that Overwatch is coming out on the 27th. Going to be playing that for sure.
Oh,
Open
yeah.
beta. Can't wait.
Or the big Blizzard news of this week is that Star Wars Battlefront beta just ended.
Is ended.
Yeah, that was pretty big too.
Yeah.
I didn't get to play any of it because they said, "Oh yeah, we're extending it to the 13th." I'm like, "Okay, I'll play it on the 11th," and then they're like, "And it's closed."
Nope, not today.
And yeah, so missed out on that opportunity. Instead, I played 2 games of Heroes of the Storm.
There you go.
So that was fun and exciting. Absolutely destroyed. Tyrande continues to be the greatest champion in the entire game, and I don't care what any of you guys say.
Yes. Highest damage dealer of all the supports. And assassins.
And specialist, and every other class.
Speaking of the top tier people, later in the podcast we've got a top tier list of each of our favorite top two
champions in each role. And we will break down, like why we like those champions, a real kind of brief talk about, kind of what meta we like it to fit into, because, it is a really slow news week. I mean, there's, they updated some art in the game, I think is kind of it.
And then
Medic did officially release a week and a half ago, which we kind of talked about, and I mean, really, that's kind of the news.
Yeah, what do you guys think about Medic?
I've only played against her once in one game. It was terrible.
Yeah.
For her.
Yeah.
She was terrible. I think a lot of it was the player, though, not the character. Just simply because we ran a train. That's going to be our Watch Us Climb, though, isn't it? Later, is we played against a Medic, Bentley and I, and we destroyed that team.
Yeah.
Did they go stem drone,
and I was about to point out, she went stem drone on Sky Temple, which is not really not viable.
I'll justify it for her. She did have an Illidan on her team.
Okay.
So,
Still, but what were they like, buddy all game long?
I don't think you understand the level of destruction we visited on these people. They were hardly ever alive most of the game.
I think they uninstalled after the game. So
it was pretty wonderful.
Wow, that's kind of mean.
Yeah, so we're gonna break that down a little bit later, though. I guess what we're gonna do is roll right into Free Week, though. I think that's the quickest transition to Free Week that we've had in all 25 episodes.
Hang on, I've got news.
What news do you have? We already talked about Overwatch.
So the medic is out. They are going to be allowed in BlizzCon, but Artanis is not.
Artanis is not. Okay, you're correct.
But there is a buff on the way for medic, according to Dustin Browder. And we think it's going to be coming in the way of HP.
Yes, because she's very squishy right now. I was almost to the point where late in the game, I was playing Tyrande in that game, and I was at the point late in the game where I could pretty much two-shot her with an owl and a stun if I had my Hunter's Mark on her.
Yeah.
And I would just, whack her and she'd be dead. And it was absolutely hilarious.
Which, this HP buff to medic might be a disguise buff to medevac. Because medevac's HP
is
scales based on medic's HP.
That's a good point.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Of our many other so vast news, there's some matchmaking changes.
I didn't even find that relevant to really talk about, though, because it's like, what was it that they said exactly? It's
basically, there's some bug fixes. We're going to try to match you with people closer to your skill level. Nice to hear. We're going to have a better experience for new players, which is nice. Great. We're not new players, but they're also going to have a better experience for top-level players.
Okay.
And the maximum wait time is 10 minutes.
And I was not thrilled to hear about that.
I think that is fine, because here's what's going to happen. It's not going to be like you hit 10 minutes and then it's like, pooh, when you're automatically in a match. No. It's going to be after 10 minutes, their system for matching with people very close to your skill level
will just go
is
away.
Going to be relaxed.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Does this affect...
get them in a game.
Does this affect only Quick Match, or is this for Hero League as well?
I believe that it is for Hero League.
Just for Hero League.
For all queues.
Yeah, I think it's matchmaking throughout the whole game.
Because I do remember, since they do have that new setup now on the load screen.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can see, other people's rank and all that kind of stuff. When I was playing with Bentley, so you're like rank 30...
I'm 35 now.
35?
Dude. Whoa there.
And, well, I was... Okay.
You're about to say
sorry.
6.
Whoa. Well, but before that game, you were 36.
I know, I climbed. Okay. I climbed.
See? Yeah, and we...
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
And I was ranked 24, and the people we were playing against were all in the 30s.
Yeah.
And the people on our team were in the 20s, except for you.
And then we had some people who still had to do placement matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that got us a little worried, but it's just kind of cool how the new loading screen, it kind of shows your portrait, which before the new loading screen, your whole customization of your portrait was kind of irrelevant. No one really saw it, but now I'm seeing that people put their level instead of their Hero League level.
Do you think that there's strategy in hiding your Hero League level?
Yeah, they've been hiding their Hero League level to kind of maybe, not get as much hate or not to set the bar too high for the current game. But I found that pretty interesting that we didn't recognize before.
So what this is telling me is that we need to get Danielle and Josh back with us. We need to finish out losing our placement matches for ranked play, so that way we're rank 50 for our team, and we just display that and everyone thinks we suck, and then we go in there and we march on them.
GG uninstall.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Aaron's like, I barely have time to play this right now.
One reason that I'm not buying up Medic is because for my birthday, I got StarCraft Ultimate Edition, which included Legacy of the Void pre-order.
Ooh.
So, inadvertently, that included...
Artanis.
Yes.
So, I'm excited for Artanis to come out. We already know he's an auto-attack champion.
Yes.
It's confirmed now that he has follow-through. That's a 25% damage increase after using... to your auto-attack.
Yeah.
After using a spell. But, it's not totally relevant, but that's the news we got.
Yeah.
I know later we're having a build with you, Bentley.
Yes.
But shall we have some plenty of nothing?
I think it's time. And now for Free Week.
Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me.
So Free Week this week, we got Tassadar, Jaina, Nazebo, Muradin, Zagara, Raynor, and Rexar.
Woo! Rexar!
And you know what? I don't completely hate this free week.
And you don't completely hate Rexar. And do you know why?
I haven't played Rexar.
Because Justin Browder not only tweets at our show, he very clearly listens to it and takes everything that we said.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And
100%.
goes to the development team and says, do you know what Bentley said last week? How dare you? Why is this not already implemented?
Why is this not fixed by now? So yeah, they did kind of fix up Rexar past couple of patches, and it is substantially better now, at least from the very brief exposure I've had to it. It seems like Misha is a lot easier to control, which is really the one thing that was a huge problem.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try her. I hope I do get on and play sometime this weekend so I can play some Rexar. I know I'm going to hate him because it's just totally not the type of champion I enjoy. But you know what? You can't love everything, right?
Yeah, I'll say I tried Rexar out this week, 2 games in, and I did not have fun. I'm pretty glad that I didn't buy him, you know?
Yeah. Me too, because, I'm such a big warrior player.
Exactly.
So I'm just really happy I waited, and now I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm glad I kind of didn't hop on that train really fast.
Yeah. So what's your team this week, dude? Actually,
and I see you just circling over there, so let's go. What's your top 5 right here?
Jaina, Raynor, Muradin, Tassadar, and Zigzag Zara.
I have to completely disagree with that one.
Wow, what's new?
Interesting. So I would go Muradin. Nazebo, for sure. I'd throw in a nice Raynor, Jaina, and then I'm going to leave out Zagara and put Tassadar in, dude, at this one.
I put in Tassadar.
He did put in Tassadar.
Yeah. The one support.
Yeah, the one support.
He's going supportless.
No, I did put Tassadar.
Oh, you put Tassadar?
Yeah. Oh. You really only changed one hero, but you said that it was a drastic change.
Nazebo is a drastic change.
Nazebo has huge impact on the game, and that's why I would include him in my top 5 as well.
Yeah.
I'm also going to throw in Tassadar, Jaina, Raynor, and Muradin. So,
okay,
that was your team.
Exactly my team. Mister, I totally disagree with you.
No, I thought about it. I was like, wait a second. Because I'm trying to read Bentley's handwriting.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
And Bentley's handwriting is terrible. And I was thinking Raynor was Rhaegar for the longest time. And then I read it off in my head, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, Aaron, you're wrong. My team's better.
Amateur.
As we all know.
As the chat room says.
No, I just go that route because, Nazebo, shit.
Right.
You know, this is a hard free week. Because I really see almost any combination of these working out if played correctly.
Yeah.
So you got to include Muradin in that in your team here because Muradin is the only tank here. You can say Rexar is a warrior, is a tank, and Misha can take damage, but that's just not true. You need to have Muradin, and Muradin is one of the best, top 3 tanks in the game.
Oh yeah.
So obviously you're going to have to include him in here. Other than that, you can take anything from this list and play it because they don't have a true support on here, so it's not like you're locked into support. You can play really any combination here, go supportless, and let it work out for you.
Yeah, and they did recently kind of nerf Tassadar's Archon mode, but it's still extremely viable.
No,
I know you like to mess around with the wall here and there, but
Archon was just so overpowered.
I guess
it was
dude.
So strong.
Tassadar isn't even played as much.
I don't totally agree. I thought Archon was fine.
Yeah. I have to disagree fully.
Because what else is bringing Tassadar into a game?
Exactly. He's never played.
But then why is the ultimate the one thing bringing him in? His whole kit should bring him in. So that's not a case of the ultimate should stay strong.
Well, then they should make...
They need to fix everything else in his kit.
They should make there be a talent so that when you shield someone, they get an AoE or a dot or a hot heal over time effect while the shield is active.
Well, kind of the idea with the shield is that it provides the champion the ability to regen health.
Yeah.
So you put that shield on him because the shield does last, a good enough time. Tassadar's just not a support.
Yeah, maybe now with Medic.
And they need to change him so that he is a support.
Well, they did say stay tuned for Tassadar and Tyrande changes. The Tyrande changes have been pretty positive so far, right? I mean, can you confirm that?
Tassadar's going to become a woman.
Hey, maybe. No, I actually have not had a chance to play Shadowstock yet. I've only played the Starfall because both games that I have played, there was already a true support in the game, so I haven't had to play that. But I really am excited for the opportunity to play Shadowstock, the new Shadowstock, because it looks awesome. Yeah. It looks fantastic, and I love the fact that it's global, which is huge. Yeah. So yeah, that's our free week. If you guys have any opinions about what our picks were, if we're right, wrong, or you have any questions, email us, niceguysnetwork@gmail.com, tweet at us, podcast_heroes.
Join the chat on Twitch.
Join the chat on Twitch next week and yell at us and scream at us, and we'll acknowledge you. It'll be wonderful.
Or we won't. Well, you guys will.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so here's a bit of news that we forgot to mention earlier. Aaron's bailing on us next week.
And forevermore.
No, just next week. Mostly because we'll let him go for 1 week, but if he tries to bail on us anymore, we don't have any ability to record next week. We don't have any ability to edit next week. We don't have a place to record.
And equipment.
And we don't have equipment to record with. So Bentley and I are literally probably just going to come up with something to do.
Yeah, stay tuned.
We're going to figure something out.
I think that really shares with our audience the level of spread of responsibility.
Well, it's your fault for having a microphone and Sony Vegas and
technical knowledge,
and yeah.
Yes. There you go.
So we're gonna kind of fly by the seat of our pants.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be like Tuesday next week when I'll be texting Bentley like, dude,
what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do? We need to figure this out.
So maybe they'll be streaming, maybe not. There will be an episode next week.
There will be. We can guarantee at the very least there will be an episode.
Even if it's made on GarageBand.
Yes.
With Bentley's Mac.
Yes.
It'll be awesome. It'll be fun.
It'll be great. I'm pumped.
It'll be the best episode of Podcast Heroes ever.
I'll miss you.
We'll miss you.
Be safe.
So tell everyone what you're doing, though. It is kind of fun.
I'm in the Kansas City Symphony. I'm in the Kansas City Symphony, and we're performing an Italian opera concert.
Ooh.
So it'll be fun.
Yum.
If you're in Kansas City, screw listening to these guys and come see the opera.
And go Royals.
Go Royals.
Yeah, shout out to the Royals after last night. Huge. I think that's the main reason we didn't record yesterday is because we were watching. Well, Bentley and I were watching the Royals, and Aaron's like, "Is there a baseball game on?" So now that we've concluded Free Week, we've concluded news. Especially the depressing news that next week's probably going to be recorded on GarageBand. We got a fun little section, something that we've never really tried before. We're going to talk about a tier list.
Yeah.
So something that we've been hyping a lot, and if you're on the stream, you can see it kind of written on my hand, is putting up a website. And on this website, we're going to have a tier list as well as blogs. And each individual one of us is going to put out our own little tier list about what we want or what we think is, tier 1, tier 2, tier garbage, things like that.
Tier garbage.
Yeah, and you like that? Yeah, and just kind of slip that in there, right? So this week, and kind of in order to hype this, because I will, I promise and guarantee, have the website up by the end of the weekend. Hold me to it. If not, I will buy both of you $5 worth of skins.
Whoa!
How about that? That's
like one skin.
That's
all
like
I heard
maybe
from that
a skin.
is I will buy both of you $5 worth of skins, and I have it on recording, and I'm deleting everying else.
Everything else, so you
and
can
that's
going
to be the entire podcast. So you're buying me $5 worth of skins.
Okay, fair enough. You owe me a Jaeger bomb though, so really it kind of balances out.
That's true. Actually, technically, Joe owes you a Jaeger bomb.
Joe already bought me one.
Did he?
Yeah. You owe me one too. I bought you one.
You did.
See, Aaron just tried to get out of that.
Our friendship only continues on based on our mutual owing each other of Jaeger bombs.
Of Jaeger bombs.
Jeez. We should go get one
this episode brought to you by Jaeger bombs. No, I'm going to bed. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways. What was I just talking about? Tiers. Yeah. So we're going to have a website, and on the website it's going to be tier list. As well as, news and other things that we update you with throughout the week. So this week, in order...
anticipated release date for the website?
By the end of the weekend. Were you really not listening to anything I said?
I try not to.
I said... What I said was, if I don't have the website up by the end of the weekend, I will buy each of you $5 worth of skins.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it.
He will have it up.
I'm going to get it up there. So this week, in order to kind of hype that, though, in order to kind of hype the release of our website, we're each going to talk about what our top 2 champions are in each class. We are going to do a solid number 1 and a solid number 2.
Yeah.
So it's not like, well, these two are about equal. No, it's a solid number 1, solid number 2. We're going to give our reasoning behind it. We're going to see how similar we are, where we disagree, and what we argue about. Because I can already tell we're going to all disagree on assassins.
Oh, yeah. All day long.
We're probably going to disagree on warriors for the most part. But it'll be, kind of a good way to just get the conversation started. And we do want to hear from you guys. So, comment below, comment on our SoundCloud, email us, niceguysnetwork@gmail.com, tweet at us at podcast_heroes. Let us know what you think about our own personal tier list. And then get really excited for the website because it's coming up before long. So, Aaron, let's do it by class. Each person brings in their class.
Okay,
we'll do it that way.
There we go.
So, Aaron, who are your top 2 supports?
It will come as no surprise that Uther is my top support.
Number 1?
Okay.
And Rhaegar is my second. Now, completely honestly, I would put Brightwing as my third.
But you playing Brightwing, though, not just a pug, or...
I wouldn't... a skilled Brightwing.
Okay.
Someone who knows how to use her mobility, her healing, and her multitude of builds to their advantage.
But your solid number 1 is Uther, your number 2 is Rhaegar, and I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory as to the reasons why.
A challenged monkey could play Uther well.
Yeah. And I do.
I know
I
you do.
do.
All right, so what are your top 2, Bentley?
Number 1, I'm going to have to say, is Malfurion. Now, we've seen a lot of him in pro play, and he's, he has good heals. And the cool thing about him, and the reason why he's number 1 for me, is because he has an ability to provide mana for his teammates. Been playing a lot of Nazebo this week, and he gets to a point where, I know his passive does a lot of mana regen, but with a Malfurion on your team, he's really, really powerful. And I mean, that goes along with all the other, Song of Ice and Fire, other assassins, even some warriors that get mana hungry. I feel like Malfurion's a good pick.
And who's your number 2?
Number 2, I'm going to say, is Medic. Just because I haven't seen a bad Medic, apart from what we played against, yeah. But also, I love her kit, and I think we're going to see some amazing BlizzCon games with Medic. Basically, every video of a top 5 gameplay has had a Medic in it this week.
Okay.
Great heals. Her E, the displacement grenade's amazing. And yeah, no complaints.
Okay. My top 2, I have to agree with Aaron here fully. Uther is just absurd right now. His especially having a point and click stun just changes the game up so much. So that's really nice. And Rhaegar is Rhaegar. I mean, best burst healer in the game. Excuse me. No arguments. I mean, especially ancestral healing alone. So, I got to stick with those 2, same reasons as Aaron. It's just the utility they bring. I am excited to see how Medic gets played, and if buffs will kind of fix her squishiness problem and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, I got to stick with Uther and Rhaegar.
Okay.
All right, so let's go assassins, and we're going to change up the order this time. Bentley, what are your top 2 assassins?
Number 1, she's been number 1 since podcast number 1 is Vala, of course. She's consistent. Her damage is consistent. Now you have to be skilled.
Now, her damage is consistent.
Yeah.
But it's also capped.
What do you mean capped?
You can only auto attack so fast, even if you go with an auto attack build.
Okay.
And you pretty much only see Valas within a set amount of damage when in the game.
I would say that's true, but depending on some talents you take, her damage can spike up during some points in the game.
Absolutely, and that's not including her slows and her stuns.
Exactly.
Which are a lot of what Vala does.
And actually, I feel like she provides a lot more utility in a way, with other than a lot of other assassins than other assassins. She has good slows, stuns, and then consistent damage. So she's my number 1. And then number 2, I would have to say, is Kael'thas. He's had several nerfs, and I still think he's top tier. Every time I play him, it's, top damage, top kills, hopefully. Yeah, dude.
All right.
KT.
Aaron, who's your top 2?
Reyna. That's Raynor Jaina. Raynor, I would have never thought at episode 5.
Who's your solid number 1? Between Raynor and Jaina, who would you rather have on your team? A Raynor?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you would have never caught me saying that during episode 5.
Like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think maybe 3 weeks ago.
Is it my gameplay on Raynor that changed you around? Is it me?
It was you that made me continue to think, wow, Raynor is just
terrible.
No, I'm kidding. But his extended range, his extended auto attack range is really useful, and it adds a lot of new mechanics to the game. You and I were having a conversation the other day about those subtle pokes with auto attacks and how important they can be.
Mm-hmm.
But also his ultimates. You can rip apart one target or capture an entire area for a while.
Right.
And I just think it's a lot of utility packed into one little guy who also has the power for you to play him because he can get away and live.
Yeah. No, I mean, that passive E is just absurd, and being able to get rid of it. Like, you have to be poking him constantly to keep it on cooldown.
If you Q, what is it called?
The shot, right? The Buster Shot, I think, or something like that?
If you Buster Shot and you
I don't
don't
think
kill
that's
them, you're fired.
Okay.
And so the number 2 is Jaina, then? Is that?
Jaina. I think that really no ability in the game is better than Blizzard.
Wow.
No, I have to fully concur.
It particularly a fully buffed Blizzard. Wide radius, hits everyone, and not for a subtle amount of damage. If you hit them with one wave, it's worth it.
If you hit them with 2 waves, it's hella worth it.
Not to mention, you can hit 5.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
It's insane, and it's really useful, and it synergizes well with a lot of people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my 2. Number 1, I bet you guys can guess. I just want to see if you can.
Assassin?
Yes.
Tyrande?
Tyrande.
I knew it.
She's the number 1 assassin in this game right now.
I knew it.
The utility she brings is absolutely absurd. Having a stun that has a radius wider than what it displays as an animation is absurd. It does an incredible amount of damage. Once you get Ranger for your Sentinel, it's dealing so much damage. Starfall, if you're able to use that and get it into a good team fight, especially if you have a Leoric on your team who's locking people up, Starfall wins you that game.
Yeah.
Starfall wins you that team fight. And then she has the ability to save herself with her heal. But the most important part of Tyrande is that trait. The Hunter's Mark, increasing damage by 25%. If you can get Hunter's Mark on someone before you hit them with your Owl and with the stun, there's a very good chance you're taking them down below half health with just those 2 abilities, especially if it's a Morales, or you can one-shot an Abathur or a Lost Vikings with that kind of stuff.
Wow.
There's just I don't see why teams aren't prioritizing Tyrande as a pick. Because she provides map vision with her Owl. She provides battle control. She provides an additional heal for you. And she buffs your other 2 assassins or your specialist with that D. There's no reason to not have a Tyrande in every single game, in my opinion. Who does not
want to get buffed by that D?
That D is huge.
Her D is huge.
That D is huge.
That girl's D is massive.
Number 2, I'm going to have to go with Jaina for all the same reasons that Aaron did. The control she offers, and I mean, if you guys have never even caught on to this slightly, or you two either, I'm less concerned with burst damage. I'm less concerned with consistent damage. I'm concerned with utility. If you bring a team to the field that has a synergy and a good utility with each other, you're going to win that game no matter what. It doesn't matter if you have the best damage dealers in the game. If you're able to lock down a single target for more than 5 seconds, they're dead. And that's what you can do with a Jaina. That's what you can do with a Tyrande. And that's what you can do with the other people I'm going to bring into, my tier list. And that is what will win you a game. Yeah. So, that's just my opinion. Yes.
Specialists.
Specialist. Specialists are a terrible class that shouldn't exist.
so
We should get
terrible.
rid of it.
You're the
No,
worst
okay.
person.
So, to me, number one specialist in the game right now is probably Zagara. The battlefield vision she brings, the Devouring Maw, as well as the Hydralisk just deals stupid amounts of damage out there.
It does seem a little bit strange that in addition to having abilities that make her one of the highest damage dealing specialists, she also just gets infinite vision all over the map.
All over the map. And I mean, it's not like those tumors run out fast. They have a few minute timer on them.
Oh, yeah.
It really doesn't make sense to me.
No, she's incredibly strong. I think she's incredibly beatable, though, because she does not have an escape. So, like, if you catch her, she's dead.
Yeah.
So that's the trick, though. So, I mean...
another trick, if you're struggling...
As Zagara? Or against Zagara?
And I'm struggling to find the name of it. Burning Presence?
The one with
the Burning Rage.
Burning Rage. It wipes out the tumors.
Yeah.
It does.
Take it, you'll find them all. It will no longer be an issue.
Yeah, and I mean, because not only do those tumors provide vision, but they give her increased movement speed, increased health regeneration, and I believe increased mana regeneration. But I think it might just be health and speed.
I don't think
You're
it's
the
mana,
Zagara player.
but
Is it
I don't
increased
think it's
damage
mana.
while
It's-
she's on it too?
No, it's a little bit of speed and then health, but then you can spec into further speed and more
order.
health.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she just provides so much to the battlefield, and
Yeah.
I mean, a well placed Devouring Maw is insane.
Yeah.
It's just what can win a game, because you can take out 3 people from the enemy team. You say you take out their entire back line, all 3 of them. Hopefully, you catch their support, and then you take out 2 of their damage dealers. Then you melt their tank. And then once those guys come out of the Devouring Maw, they suddenly no longer have a tank, and your team's just standing there like, all right, let's play.
Yeah.
Or you take out their tank, rip apart 2 of their damage dealers,
Yeah.
and then what's the tank going to do?
Or fair enough. Okay.
What's your second?
What's my second? Abathur.
Oh,
A well-played
wow.
Abathur. This is a champion I can't play for anything
100%
whatsoever.
agree.
Have you even seen me play Abathur? Or are you agreeing with number 2?
I'm agreeing that Abathur is in the top tier.
Okay, cool. We Gucci.
He's not on my list,
I am actually absolutely terrible at Abathur, though.
but I would almost put him as one of the top tier supports.
Oh, you would call him a support over
Every game that I see him in, he has massive damage, and that's one difference.
Yeah.
But he really does lend himself more like a support than a specialist.
Okay, that's almost like for the same reason I use
It's a
Tyrande
support-
as an assassin.
It's a support that plays like a specialist.
Okay. All right. Well, I can agree with that, but I just think, I mean, like, the fact that he can put up that what's the ultimate called? Not the ultimate evolution, but the other one.
Evolve Monstrosity?
Evolve Monstrosity. That thing is absurd. Like, if you ignore it, and it can push down an entire lane, and then you're suddenly like, oh my god, what just happened? And
Yeah.
your whole lane's gone.
And then there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, no, I mean, I just don't see any reason to justify Abathur. The hat that he can put on people, especially if your team has an auto attack champion like a Butcher, as a Raynor, a Tychus, things like that, and you increase their attack speed, it's absurd. I actually have played a game in the past few weeks, I don't remember when exactly, but I was on Tyrande and we had an Abathur, and he would give me increased attack speed. My damage was off the charts.
Yeah.
I mean, it was absurd, because I could just increase the attack speed, and then I always take the Hunter Mark buff. That increases my attack speed too. I was attacking like that. I mean, I was just putting down damage so fast, it was unfreaking believable.
And picture when you get the double hat,
right.
and then you can get an Illidan and a Butcher.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's terrifying.
So, that's what I really like to see, is a good Abathur play. But I also sweat so nervously whenever somebody is hovering Abathur on my team, because I'm like, they're going to suck. I know they're going to suck. Please don't pick Abathur. Yeah. And, I mean, I'd like to be pleasantly surprised by that. So, Bentley, who's your top 2 supports?
Recently fell in love with Nazebo, so he's right now my number 1, and I think rightfully so. He's very much in the meta. We saw him a lot in the pro scene, so he deals a ton of damage, tons of utility. I will say his zombie wall can be more damaging to your team than it is to their team if played incorrectly. So that's what I've been.
Or if you don't put it down.
Well, that too, but I mean, sometimes it's better to not put it down than to put it down in the wrong spot in situations. Yeah, so Nazebo's great. Man. I mean, not much else to say. I know there's been some debate about Gargantuan and Ravenous Spirit, because Ravenous Spirit just got a nerf, but it's still a good, both great, hero talents. So, I mean, heroics. And yeah, and my number 2 would have to be Zagara. If I didn't fall in love with Nazebo, Zagara would be my number 1, for all the same reasons that Billy just said. Vision, damage. Although, an out-of-play Zagara will die instantly, and it's something that you need to be careful if you're playing a Zagara, is, am I overextending? And yeah, what about you?
I agree with you. Zagara is really strong. And Devouring Maw is definitely one of the best ults in the game. But for my 2, I picked Nazebo as well. Mm-hmm. Same reasons. I think the spiders are really cool.
Yes.
Especially when you get jumping spiders or whatever it is. I picked Asmodan.
Okay.
I think that Asmodan can hold his own in lane against anyone.
Yeah.
And he's really beefy. There's multiple play styles. You can go for kind of the Lord of the Dead, and take a ton of Skeletal Knights and those little leaders that buff your whole lane.
Yeah, the lieutenants. They're really important if you're pushing lanes.
And you can take out all of bot lane before anybody even takes out a tower.
And the cool thing about that is that it's actually global. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
So you can actually be bot lane, and you can D top lane on a minion, and your lieutenant will spawn and buff those top minions.
That's
and
really
you'll
cool.
get EXP.
I mean, because that's huge on, like, Sky Temple.
Right.
And other maps where you're across the map, that you can just start dropping those generals up there, and it just pushes that lane while you're fighting over the objective.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I would like to see Asmodan paired with a medic, where Asmodan is shoving top lane and everybody's bot doing a temple, and then all of a sudden everybody ports top and they already have an army to push with.
Yep.
That would be pretty cool. But yeah, those are my specialists.
Okay, so the big
warriors.
roles. Yeah, warriors.
I picked Johanna. Go figure. I really like Johanna. I think she's super strong. She's got great escape. She's got great utility. She's got great ultimates. And Arthas. Arthas has always, like, whenever I think about him, he's my favorite. He's got a slow AoE that it's really strong.
Yeah.
And it's hard for him to run out of mana because his D can replace it.
Exactly.
He can heal himself or take you out while you're running away.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And he's got a really powerful stun.
Yeah, and I like that it takes some skill to be a
good
Arthas player.
It's not necessarily a stun. It's a freeze.
Yeah.
He locks you in place. You can still... Yeah, snare. That's it.
And that does take some skill. It's not just like a point and click kind of thing. I've seen tons of snares missed, but the ones that do get you are gonna kill you.
Yeah, are huge. Okay, so who are your 2 warriors, Bentley?
Number 1 is Leoric. And even though they nerfed his swing, I still think he's top tier, man.
I agree.
He doesn't die. I mean, you never stop playing him, and even when he's dead, you can still slow. And that's been useful a lot of times when they're usually, you die at the beginning of or at the end of a, conflict, and enemy teams are running away. You can easily stop them with a swing or a slow of some kind. So that's great. And his ultimate, I basically about 90% of the time go with Entomb, just because I believe is it March? Black March?
March of the Black King.
Yeah,
you
that
know
one.
That.
I knew it was March and Black something, but I feel like that is very...
You gotta be careful saying that. There's like the 30 million man march coming up.
But I feel like there's just tons of room for error on that, and there is tons of room for error on Entomb. But it just provides such great utility, and you're not really there to push out that much damage. You're really there to help out the damage dealers on your team, and that's what Entomb really does.
I think that's what we need to start calling his ultimate.
What?
The 30 million.
The Million Man March.
Yeah. And then number 2 is Muradin, dude. I mean, he's amazing. Stuns, and his ultimate, the Avatar, giant punching bag, and he jumps. So that's it.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
My 2, easy enough. Johanna, number 1. All the obvious reasons. She is the best warrior in the game right now. The biggest game changer warrior. And the most impossible to kill warrior. Outside of maybe an avatared, stone-formed Muradin.
Yeah.
But other than... I mean, Johanna is absolutely absurd. And then my number 2 has to be Leoric. Just because he... can take a lot of damage. He can be right up there in the damage taken with, Johanna and with Muradin, but he provides a lot of damage too. That's kind of, like Muradin and Johanna's shortfalls. Like, Johanna straight out just doesn't deal that much damage. And then Muradin can, but has to be built as such. And then that makes him less of a tank. Yeah. So Leoric, while not being able to survive nearly as long as Johanna or Muradin, provides just so much damage that he doesn't need to survive that long because you killed the other team.
It's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, that's our temporary tier list. If you think we left anything out, let us know. Email us at niceguysnetwork@gmail.com. Tweet us, all that kind of fun stuff. So I believe we have a build.
The time has come for a new build!
Today's build is Nazebo, my recently new favorite specialist. I'm going to go through it real quick. His Q is throwing spiders. You've seen it all the time. W is the zombie wall. His E is toads. And then his ultimates are Gargantuan and Ravenous Spirit. And then his passive, his auto attacks will poison enemy heroes or actually minions or anything. And then it also provides a HP, health, and mana regen. So that's a quick rundown. Number 1, first tier, I always go with Death Ritual. And that permanently increases your... Permanently increases... every minion kill you get 5 HP and 3 mana permanently for every kill. So that will, stack up really quick. Towards the end of the game, you're going to have a lot more mana and a lot more HP than you do with any other specialist, actually.
Or champion, period. Pretty much at that point, yeah.
And I mean, if you're doing your job right, you should, because you should be in lane killing minions. So, level 4, I always go with Spider Cluster. That basically buffs your spiders, more actual spiders, and I believe they do, deal more damage as well. So, and that will go combo with a later on talent as well. Level 7, I always go with Gidbin. That increases the duration of all your abilities. So that means the zombie wall is going to be up for longer. I believe the toads are going to go for a longer range, and then the spiders are going to be up attacking longer as well. So that's just a great overall buff for all of your abilities. Level 10. Now, there's been a recent Ravenous Spirit nerf, but I still think it's a viable pick. It's a very, very difficult time to pick when to cast it because your hero will be stationary and then you're going to cast this huge spirit that does tons of damage. Nazebo is very vulnerable, okay, and he has no escape. So a quick tip is just to get in a bush, make sure you're not seen, and then throw that Ravenous Spirit on. It's great to push it with, I'm thinking if you have a Spider Wave to push with, or a Curse, or even just a big push with all your teammates, a Ravenous Spirit can go a long way. Level 13, I go with Thing of the Deep. Now this will increase the range of all of your abilities by 25%. Now I believe they replaced this with Sprint with a patch, not quite recently, but this is kind of their way of replacing Sprint. You're going to be further away from the action, but that gives you more opportunity to get away. I just think that's a good pick.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Okay.
Gibjin.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I believe it's Gibjin, yeah.
Well, but it's Gidbin. Gidbin.
Gidbin.
Yeah, and that's what I said.
I thought it was Gibdjinn.
I know, that's what I thought too.
Jidbin.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the weirdest name.
I know.
Somebody figure it out and let us know so that we don't sound dumb.
And then level 16, I have to go with leaping spiders. They nerfed it recently. You know, I feel like every time I go through it says recent nerf, but they recently nerfed the, you know, leaping spiders. I believe it just doesn't do as much damage, but it's still a ton of damage. And a good way to use these spiders once you get this level 16 talent is throw it onto like I look for like a Kael'thas, someone with no escape that kind of walks slow, you know, someone who's kind of sluggish, even like a Zagara, because those spiders jump and then they'll catch up with the hero, so it's just great. And then level 20. So this is interesting because if you need an escape, this is your opportunity to get Bolt of the Storm. But with a lot of games I've been playing, it's getting to the point where we're way ahead. I don't need to waste a talent on an escape that I don't need to use. So I usually just buff up my Ravenous Spirit just to do more damage, and it actually buffs the movement speed of the Ravenous Spirit, so they'll actually be able to chase down. You like Ravenous
Spirit over Gargantuan?
I do, because I feel like Gargantuan just...
Ravenous Spirit's better than Gargantuan, I have to agree.
Yeah, dude.
I've seen, though, a lot of utility out of Gargantuan.
There is a lot of utility.
Like when you left Gargantuan to take a camp while you went elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you throw your Gargantuan as a sacrifice,
mm-hmm.
but he gets the kill.
Yeah.
But you don't die where you normally would have to get that kill.
Okay. I mean, Dealer's Choice, they're very, very similar in how they operate.
Exactly.
They're two gigantic things that stand in the way and hit you for a lot of damage, so...
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, the AI is good on Gargantuan, but I just love the amount of damage that the Ravenous Spirit can do with my control of what it's attacking.
If you were less vulnerable during Ravenous Spirit, it would obviously be the better choice.
Yeah, and
it really depends on how you use it.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, bushes are everywhere, so you just set up camp and throw that Ravenous Spirit down. But that's going to be the build. Just the biggest thing with Nazeebo, guys, is that he has no escape. He's very squishy, and everyone's going to target you at once if you're in the wrong spot.
That and if you trap a teammate in wall, let it down.
Yes. If you recast it, the wall will go down. Okay? So.
But that should also be noted, don't spam casting it, too, because you could prematurely take it down.
Yeah.
So you want to be careful of that. Another fun build from us. You know, I think we like to, you know, bust out some things that aren't always typically in the meta with these builds, and it works for us. So, you know, give it a chance for other people to give it a try and see what happens.
Sounds good.
So I believe our very last segment is coming up here.
And now, for Watch Us Climb.
So where are you guys at in Hero League right now?
So I played a game earlier today, and another wreck-faced game. Got tons of points, but not enough. I got up to 35 now.
Right on. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not proud to admit that between working almost 60 hours a week and the symphony and school, I am at rank 25 because I haven't played a single game.
Yeah, I'm going to catch up, dude.
Bentley's going to catch up to you. I also work 60 hours a week, but luckily I have shit for a singing voice, and I'm not in school anymore. So I have managed to climb up from 27 to 21.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lead the way.
That's quite a climb.
Great champion.
I'm trying. It's all that Toronto, man. She's the best champion in the game, so you got to get her there. We do have a really exciting game to talk about, though. Aaron is not included in this one. This was a game Bentley and I played, I believe, 2 nights back, was it?
Yes, sir.
2 nights back?
Yep.
Dude.
Great game.
Dude.
Great game.
We destroyed this game. I mean, I have hardly ever been in a game where it's been so obvious who the winner was going to be from the start.
It was, yeah.
Our pugs were amazing. We actually talked to each other in draft chat, so, you know, that kind of helps you out quite a bit if you, you know, ever want to win your Hero League game. I believe our team was Taronda, Nazeebo, Lili, Leoric, and help me out, who is number 5? Raynor.
Yep.
So, you know, great combination. You got the incredible auto attack ability of Raynor. Taronde for obvious reasons. Plus, Hunter's Mark in combination with Raynor. Hello.
Yeah.
And then Nazeebo is just a great specialist. We were playing on Sky Temple, and Nazeebo can solo a Sky Temple pretty early on by himself.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are curious, Taronda can totally do it too.
All of those heroes, including both supports, can put out massive damage.
Yeah.
Like, Lily constantly surprises me with how much damage she can put out.
Well, no, this is a game, and I remember looking at the screenshot of this. The highest damage on the team was me as Torande at 47,000. And then I think the next closest was 39,000 on you, I believe. And then 38,000 on Raynor. I think it was around 32,000 for Leoric, and then Lily at 29,000.
Wow.
It was...
Okay.
And then I think the highest damage on their team was like 32?
Yeah.
Something around
Sounds
there.
about right. Sounds about right.
Their team was hilarious. Starting off with a Murky. They tried to go with the combo of Illidan and Medic, that stem drone on Medic. Didn't work once. Johanna and Jaina. So on paper, outside of the Murky, their team is really good.
Yeah.
I think this was purely a case of where two on paper teams, good teams going up against each other, and one team was just clearly superior in skill to the other, and that's what won the game, was skill and communication, because our team listened when we said, okay, Temple, okay, boss, okay, just push, ignore, things like that.
Yep. And
team worked.
I gotta point out the first kill, first blood of the game. We go top lane, which is kind of, unorthodox because I'm a specialist, I should solo bot. But he, typed into chat, hey, is it okay if, Nazebo and I go top? We're on comms.
Because, we got comms.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Right off the bat, you get the watchtower. Jaina is hiding in the bush, and you're like, dude, Jaina. And I'm like, okay, zombie wall, Hunter's Mark, stun, she's dead. And that minion waves didn't even get halfway to the thing yet.
Before the 3-minute mark in the game, she was dead.
And I'm like, this is going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where it started, and it didn't stop. So,
yeah,
that was good. I think what really won us the game, though, was the fact that we didn't overextend any of our pushes ever. Yeah. We would push, we would damage the towers, but even if a tower was at, a fifth health or less, if we saw their team coming, we bailed.
Yeah.
We got out, we went and got camps, and then if a temple was coming up, we would go and prepare for a temple. We would set up ambushes and, bushes, and we would get boss. We got boss a few times that game, and that really helped us out. So if you remember our map stats on Sky Temple, I believe it's 1 minute 40 seconds after the last shot on a temple is when the next temple will come up. Yeah. So you really want to kind of try and time it. And I think we accidentally timed it correctly because I certainly wasn't keeping tabs that game. But I accidentally timed it so we had a boss going when 2 temples activated.
Yeah,
and that was huge.
Sometimes when you're dominating and it's a really snowbally game, it's easy to keep control of the entire map, particularly the bosses, because they can't even get there without getting killed.
Right, and this is where, Tarandi's vision comes in, because you just throw an owl out anywhere, even if you don't see someone, then they're not there.
Exactly.
And so there's only so many more spots on the map that they could be. Their team was constantly out of position. I found Murky's egg at least 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, you did.
It was absolutely hilarious. I did like that one blind shot. I'm like, I wonder if the egg's in here. And I threw down a stun and the egg was there. It's like he was so predictable with where he was putting it. So, really, I think this is more of a lesson on how to not play bad than how we played good. Because, they were just outclassed. That other team, Murky was playing eggs horribly. Jaina was always out of position. Illidan and Medic never really synced up. And if you're going to play a combo, you need to sync up. You need to be working together. And they really never did that. Johanna, I think, was the only somewhat shining star on their team. And even still, she was not using that passive of hers in order to get out of stun. She was trying to, she would, burst it the second. She would use it the second a fight started. It's like, no, you got to wait until I'm about to hit you with my stun, or right up until Raynor is trying to knock you back with his buster shot because you're coming in on him. And that's just the lesson you need to learn. It's like you need to learn how to not play your champion. You need to learn how to play your champion against certain people.
Exactly.
So I believe that ends it for the. What I don't even know the special word.
Quarter centennial.
Quarter centennial. There we go. That ends it for the Quarter Centennial Podcast Heroes. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know. Comments below. Podcast_heroes on Twitter, and niceguysnetwork@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Podcast Heroes, where we podcast about heroes.
Hello.